Hey, what's up, peoples? It's your boy PC Williams coming to y'all live. Had a few connection issues. Kind of find out I didn't cut the Wi-Fi on, so sorry about that. But we all good to go. No more interruptions, no more cutoffs. Here we go. Like I was saying before, we in the dog days of summer right now. We got football's coming up in a month. Basketball is over with, so we're kind of stuck between the two best sports, basketball and football. Baseball is going on right now. Go Red Sox, best record in baseball, number one. We're going to the World Series. So, but today I want to talk about three topics. I want to talk about what's going on with T.O. in the Hall of Fame. As you all know, T.O. has declined to come to the Hall of Fame and give a speech. He's going to do it, at UT Chattanooga. He went to college there, so he's going to do his speech there, So I'm going to give my opinion on that. That's a real hard thing for me. I'm a T.O. fan, but I got to keep it 100, 1,000, uncut, unbiased, unfiltered. So got to give it to you the truth. So, and as you all know, football will start in a month. Everybody's getting their last little minute training in. Everyone's getting in shape, getting their last little bit of part out the way, making arrangements to move. So it's like, right now, football hasn't started yet, but you can tell, the players starting to get into their good shape, starting to really, get themselves into what we call, football conditioning. So we'll talk about that because I want to get into my top 10 quarterbacks of all time. I feel like, right now everybody's getting ready for training camp, but I feel like the quarterbacks are ready. As you all know in football, quarterback is the most important position. That's the position where, you got to be first in the door, last one to leave. So, to kind of get myself in the football spirit, get this thing crunk up, man. I'm going to do my top 10 all-time quarterbacks. My top 10 all-time quarterbacks, from my opinion, who I saw play, who I researched and thought should be in the top 10 of all time. That's what I'm going to talk about today. So, and I'm going to talk about the importance of Deontay Wilder and Anthony Joshua fighting. I feel like, everyone's talking about Triple G and, Canelo fighting. I feel like the most important fight for boxing right now is Wilder and Joshua. That fight has to happen. It needs to happen. I feel like, boxing needs that fight to happen. And I'll explain why. So, but we'll dive into my first topic here. T.O. versus the Hall of Fame. Now, as you all know, T.O. got into the Hall of Fame this year on his third try. Had to wait 2 years to get in. Me personally, I've always said that it was unfair. He should have got in on the first ballot. But things happen. So, as we all know, it wasn't all football things. There was some personal feelings involved, as to why T.O. didn't get in, off the field stuff, locker room stuff, people's opinions. I feel like he was done wrong. I feel like he should have been in on the first ballot, no questions asked about it. So, but, he did get in, and I feel like, for him to not accept this honor to go and give a speech, I feel like T.O. is dead wrong. And it doesn't give me joy to say that because anyone who knows me know that I've always been a T.O. fan. I'm one of his biggest fans. I feel like Jerry Rice is the greatest receiver to ever put on cleats, period, in the story, no debate from nobody. But right behind him is either T.O. or Randy Moss. In my book, it's T.O. because I felt like I could always count on him on the field. He never took plays off. Played his ass off, man. He would block for the running back. He would do things. He could run routes, go across the middle. He could run routes 1 through 9, and he never quit. Despite the attitude, despite the drama, like T.O. never quit. So I feel like that's where I put him ahead of Randy Moss. Yeah, Randy was probably more talented, faster, probably had better hands, but as an all-around receiver, all-around player, give me T.O. any day of the week. So it hurts me to say that about T.O., but I feel like he's dead wrong. He's selfish. He has basically validated everything that was said about him being selfish, emotional and kind of making it all about himself. And I feel like you finally got what you wanted. You're in the Hall of Fame. You know, why make it an issue? Why put this dark cloud over such a great weekend? Why put this kind of drama in the air? You know, and I feel like, you know, T.O. has been blessed with a great opportunity here. Like, you just got into the NFL Hall of Fame. That's the greatest honor an athlete can ever receive, in my opinion, because the Football Hall of Fame is a lot different than the Basketball Hall of Fame and Baseball Hall of Fame, because I feel like not everybody can get in the Football Hall of Fame. It's a solid fraternity. Like we've been playing football for over 100 and something years. There's only 300 and something guys in the Hall of Fame, and T.O. is one of those guys. So for him to say, you know, I'm not gonna come, you know, I mean, that's just selfish. And I feel like, you know, you're one of the greatest ever, man. Like, you just got validated. You're not a first ballot Hall of Famer. You should have been. I get that, T.O., but you're not the first one they did like this. It's a whole long list of great guys with great resumes just like yours that waited. I mean, it's not just all you. So it's a great honor that I feel like T.O. is passing up for his own selfish reasons. And I'm disappointed in T.O., you know, as a fan. It hurts my heart that I don't get to sit there and listen to him explain his story. Because I feel like you in the Hall of Fame, T.O., this is your chance. Your Hall of Fame speech, that's the end. That's the final chapter of your career. You get the last word. That's your chance to go up there and explain to everybody what happened. That gives you a chance to tell us what drove you to be a competitor. I mean, some of the all-time greats, their Hall of Fame speeches are controversial at best because they spend a lot of time, you know, apologizing to their families. Hey, I'm really sorry that I was always away from y'all, that I didn't spend time with the kids. You know, this is your chance, T.O., to come out and say, look, this is why I played the way I played. This is why I act the way I acted. This is the way I carried myself this way because of this. This is your chance, T.O., to explain to everyone why you were the way you were. And I'm very familiar with T.O.'s story. I read his book, did some research. You know, his father wasn't in his life, you know, basically raised by his grandmother. His father, as a matter of fact, lived across the street from T.O. And T.O. had no idea that was his father until he was like a teenager. By that time, it was already, you know, too much things. So, you know, I'm very much aware of why T.O. played with the chip on his shoulder that he played with. I'm very much aware of that, you know. So for him, this was his chance to come out and say, look, guys, yes, I was, you know, a bit of an asshole. Yes, I was, you know, demonstrative, you know, selfish at times. Yes, I was these things. But here is why. This is what drove me to be this person. And I feel like for T.O. to turn down the opportunity, like that's weak. Like, come on, man. Like, yeah, it ain't right. It's unfair. The Hall of Fame did, like, as a matter of fact, I feel like T.O. is mad at the wrong people. You're mad at the Hall of Fame when those guys in the Hall of Fame went to bat for you. You know, you're mad at the wrong people. It's not the Hall of Fame that kept you out. It's the voters. And I'm on record of saying, look, you can't have a bunch of biased, metalhead, half-ass reporters voting for the Hall of Fame. That's something prestigious and something precious that I don't want to leave it in the hands of some, you know, some bitter, you know, I got cut from high school, so I hate the world, so I went to college and got a degree in journalism, so I'm going to bash the great athletes who did go to practice on time and who did make the team. Those guys shouldn't vote for the Hall of Fame. It should be a committee of Hall of Fame guys like Jim Brown, Deacon Jones, you know, just Ed Sable, just get all of the founding fathers, all of the top, you know, most respected Hall of Famers, and let them decide who gets in the Hall of Fame. But that's not what's going on. It's been this way for years. You know, T.O. is just the latest victim. He won't be the last. He sure as hell is not the first. As a matter of fact, he plays with receiver. Has there been any more disrespected, overlooked position in the Hall of Fame other than receiver? Jerry Rice is the best ever. He got in first ballot. Everybody else had to wait. Chris Carter waited 6 years, to get in. Michael Irvin, Art Monk, these guys had to wait a long time to get in. So T.O., it could have been worse. They could have made you wait half a decade like they did Chris Carter. They could have made you wait 6-7 years like Michael Irvin, or make you wait a couple decades like Art Monk. Andre Reed had to wait. These guys had to wait too, T.O. It wasn't just you. Is it wrong? Yes. But don't take this out on your brothers, because it was your brothers in that Hall of Fame. Shannon Sharpe, Eric Dickerson. These guys went to bat for you. These guys went on TV and said, this is a disappointment. This is a disgrace. Let T.O. in the Hall of Fame. These guys went to bat for you, T.O. And for you to basically spit in their face, and say, well, you know what? I'm not coming to share this moment with my brothers. I'm going to be a big-ass crybaby and stay home and do my speech at my small college, which is, that's fine, T.O. You've earned the right to do what the hell you want to do. But don't spit in the face of this honor right here, man. This is the greatest honor you could ever receive. You're going into the same Hall of Fame as Jerry Rice, the same Hall of Fame as, Ozzie Newsome, Joe Montana, Jerry Rice, Emmitt Smith, Larry Allen, Lawrence Taylor, John Randall, Deion Sanders, Rod Woodson, the list goes on. You're going into the Hall of Fame with these guys. Doesn't matter when you got in, you're still going in, T.O. And I feel like, you're one of the greatest ever. And you finally get a chance to be validated. Yeah, it's not right that you had to wait. I don't agree with that, T.O. I thought it was a BS move for you to have to wait all that time. But hey, it happened, T.O. There's nothing we can do about it now. You're not the first victim that had to go through this. So it's like, hey, just let it go, man. Go up there, give your speech. You get the last word. You can tell all those reporters that left you out to kiss your ass. Like, you get the last word. Michael Jordan gave a Hall of Fame speech. I mean, he killed everybody, from his high school coach to his biggest critic. He let all of them have it. Put his middle finger in the air at everybody. Like, forget y'all. The hell with y'all. Whoever had something bad to say about me, the hell with you. Like, was it wrong? I mean, I don't have no problem with it, because I feel like, hey, you spend this man's entire career hating on them and bashing them. When they get their chance to give a Hall of Fame speech and they fire back at you, I have no problem with that. So I would have had no problem at all if T.O. went up there to Canton, Ohio, and gave his Hall of Fame speech and said, you know what, the hell with Skip Bayless, the hell with Jason Whitlock, the hell with all the rest of y'all reporters who didn't believe in me and who called me selfish. I'm here now. I got a gold jacket on. Now top that. But T.O. didn't do that. T.O. is deciding to validate Skip Bayless, validate Jason Whitlock. You're giving validation to these half-ass reporters and these half-ass journalists that left you out. You're basically making them look right. When everybody, including your fellow Hall of Famers, stood up for you for years and saying, look, let this man in. It makes no damn sense. These guys went to bat for you. And they got dead wrong. Shannon Sharpe waited 3 years. This man retired holding every tight end record you can imagine. And he waited 3 years to get in, T.O. And he still went to bat for you. This man still said you should get in first ballot. This is someone that got robbed 2 years in a row. He could have easily just came out and said, T.O., just shut the hell up, man, and take it. No, these guys got done wrong, and they still stood tall for you to get in on the first ballot. They still had your back. They still wanted you to get in. They still went on their shows, on their platforms, and said, Hall of Fame, what the hell are y'all doing? Let T.O. in. These guys have gold jackets. They put their name, their reputation, their legacy on the line to talk you into the Hall of Fame. And who knows? If Shannon Sharpe and these guys didn't say nothing, you'd probably still be waiting, T.O. They made Chris Carter wait 5 years. You don't think they'll make your black ass wait 2 more years? 2, 3 more years? Come on. These guys spoke up for you and said, let T.O. in the Hall of Fame. What the hell are y'all doing? And for you to spit in these guys' face, that is wrong, T.O. And it hurts me to say this because I'm a T.O. fan. I love T.O. Next to Jerry Rice, he's the greatest ever. Jerry Rice is #1. That's not debatable. As a matter of fact, that's not an opinion, it's a fact. But behind Jerry Rice, I have T.O. Then Randy, then I got Irvin, but we know we'll get to all that later. But come on, man, like, you're spitting in the face of your brothers. This event is not about Skip Bayless. It's not about Jason Whitlock. It's not about these reporters. It's about you, T.O. It's about your time, your opportunity to get the last word. And you pass that up. And now you forever open yourself up to criticism and question. When you could have gave your Hall of Fame speech and put all that BS to bed. But by you pulling this off, by you skipping the Hall of Fame, you just basically validated all of these guys that myself and your fellow Hall of Famers have battled against for you. You spit in our face. You spit in the fans' face. Not every fan hated you, T.O. The fans in Philadelphia, I have friends that are Eagles fans. They say, look, we love T.O. We didn't want Donovan McNabb. We wanted T.O. in town. We wanted T.O. We love T.O. We down with T.O. And you spit in their face. You spit in your brother's face. The guys that stood up for you. They told, I researched this. They said the second year you got rejected, that meeting in the Hall of Fame got downright contentious. You had sports writers arguing with Hall of Famers. They were in there arguing, fighting, fussing over you getting in. You had guys that were willing to stand up and say, the hell with the Hall of Fame committee. We want T.O. in our fraternity right now. And you spit in their face, man. That's jacked up on T.O.'s part. It's selfish. I don't think he was a horrible teammate because you have guys like Brian Dawkins, like, Patrick Creighton in Dallas, like, like Steve Young in San Francisco that came out and said it wasn't all T.O.'s fault. You've had teammates on these teams that you so-called obliterated came out and said, no, it wasn't all T.O.'s fault, man. We had a split locker room. It wasn't just T.O. These guys have stood up for you, T.O. These guys stood up for you and said, look, T.O., we got your back. The Hall of Fame ceremony is not about the reporters. It's about you, your family, and those 100 guys to your left wearing gold jackets. It's about them and you and your fans. The hell with the Skip Bayless of the world, the hell with Jason Whitlock, the hell with Nick Wright and all of them. They can all go to hell. On that particular day, on that particular night, it's about you, T.O. Not about them. It's about you and your brothers. No one is going to be at that Hall of Fame ceremony except for people that wanted to see you go in. You think I'm going to a party for someone I don't like? Like, come on, man. Like, they stood up for you, T.O. So it hurts me to say that because I'm a T.O. fan. But I got to keep it real. I got to keep it unbiased. He was wrong and dead wrong at that. And now all of these years of you being called these things, of you being called selfish, in a matter of seconds, you just validated that. And now for the rest of your career, for the rest of your life, every time your name comes up, you're going to be known as the only football player in the history of the Hall of Fame that decided, nah, you know what, I'm just so sit at home. You're the first guy to turn down their invitation to give their speech to you. You don't deserve that kind of legacy, man, but you know what? You brought it on yourself. And as a fan, I can't defend that. I can't defend what you just did, man. I can't defend you shutting down that option. I can't defend that, T.O. I'm sorry. You're still the second greatest ever behind Jerry Rice. None of that would change. You deserve your gold bus. in the Hall of Fame, that's still going to happen. You're still getting your gold jacket. But for you to turn down this opportunity, man, to finally clear the air, come on, man, T.O. That's jacked up and it's selfish. And all you did was validate all the hate you ever got from anyone. That's all you just did, T.O., was validate what they was already saying about you. That you are selfish. That you are about yourself. You love you some you. I love me some me. That's right, T.O. I didn't have the best relationship with, my high school teammates. I read the story, T.O. You got bullied as a kid, no father, and being a black kid growing up in the South like that. Yes, you had a lot of things go against you, and you rose from that and became a Hall of Famer. What if some kid out there that's just like you, T.O.? What if you got a kid that's out there getting bullied by his teammates or getting bullied by his classmates that ain't got a father and think they're hopeless? Tell them they can listen to your Hall of Fame speech, T.O. And maybe that'll change. Maybe your Hall of Fame speech, T.O., maybe your story can save someone's life. Maybe some black kid, some tall, skinny, uncoordinated kid who gets picked on can read your story and say, you know what? If I lift some weights and I learn how to run routes and I can learn how to play football, I can get out this hood. I can become the star. You can save lives, T.O., with your story, because I'm very familiar with it. You can save lives with the story you can tell on your Hall of Fame speech, but you're not going to do it. You're going to do it at UT Chattanooga, which is your alma mater, which is I have no problem with that, man. But to turn down this opportunity to put your middle finger in the air and just spit in the face of your brothers that stood up for you. It's not the Hall of Fame members that kept you out, T.O. They don't get a vote, unfortunately. They don't get a vote. These metalhead half-ass reporters are the ones that kept you out. And then you can get the last word in your Hall of Fame speech by saying, look, I got in, Skip Bayless, ha-ha. I got in, Whitlock, ha-ha. All y'all who said I was selfish, look where I'm at now. I wouldn't have had no problem with that. I had no issue with Jordan, Hall of Fame speech when he called out his high school coach. I had no problem with that. So, T.O., man, you're selfish, man. To do this right here, validate what they said about you. Now, I'm not going to sit here and throw stones at T.O. and just say that his whole legacy is based on this. But like they always say, man, it's not how you start, it's how you finish. And your Hall of Fame speech is the final chapter in your career. You had a chance to forever change the narrative, forever just change the perception about you in a mere 30 minutes. So for T.O. to just turn down an opportunity like that, it hurts me as a fan. And I feel like, as a fan, I feel robbed. I don't get to see him have his Hall of Fame speech, man. So, man, that's what it is. Like I said, the Hall of Fame is a flawed system. We all know this, T.O., but you're not the only victim. You ain't the first. You ain't gonna be the last. They're gonna, they're gonna do someone else like this. They're gonna do someone else the same way they just did you, T.O. The same way. Look at the history of the Hall of Fame. Charles Haley, a 5-time champion, had to wait for years. Why? Because the media didn't like him. Come on, this man was the cornerstone of 2 dynasties. This man changed the power in the NFC. He played for San Fran. They won 2 Super Bowls. Jerry Jones traded for him. He comes to the Cowboys. We own the 90s because of this guy. He had to wait way more than you did, T.O. 3 years you had to wait. This man had to wait a damn decade and a half damn near. Charles Haley had to wait that long. Art Monk, Chris Carter, Shannon Sharp, Michael Irvin, etc. These guys were robbed year and year and year. Had to sit there and walk of shame from their hotel room back downstairs. But did they give up? No. They went and gave their Hall of Fame speech. They cleared the air. It's over and done with. They are Hall of Famers no matter how you want to tangle and twist it, man. T.O. is wrong. You're wrong, T.O. So this forever diminishes his legacy. Because by you doing that, you give these critics that we have battled on behalf of you. You give them credit. You give them validation now. For so long, people have gone on First Take and Undisputed and just destroyed Skip Bayless and said, Skip, what the hell are you talking about? Now you give Skip Bayless a leg to stand on. Now you give Jason Whitlock a leg to stand on. Now you give these critics, hey, see, I told y'all. I told you T.O. was selfish. I tried to tell y'all, and look what he just did to the Hall of Fame. They're going to use that to bury your ass for the rest of your career, T.O. Nice job, man. All you had to do was go out there for 30 minutes, cry a few tears, give a few FUs to the crowd, the people that doubted you, the reporters that doubted you, who knows? It's your time. It was your opportunity to put all that crap behind you and say, you know what? Y'all left me at the Hall of Fame because y'all thought I was selfish. Well, here's why I think you're wrong. You get the last word, T.O. But now, by you doing this, your legacy is forever questioned. Your name is forever dragged through the mud. Now, I'm just disappointed in what you did. I'm not finna kill T.O. the rest of my days. It is what it is. This don't change my mind that he's number 2 receiver of all time. That don't change my mind at all. But doing this to you, it's hard for me to defend you ever again to anyone who ever calls you selfish. Now, if they want to say who was a better receiver than Randy Moss, and that's another point, T.O. You're mad at Randy Moss too because he got in first ballot and you had to wait. And now I admit that was BS. Because Randy Moss quit on his teams. He retired on a very bad note. But see, Randy Moss played the game, CO, and I don't agree with it. I think Randy Moss is a straight sucker for this. Randy Moss came out with the whole 30 for 30, ran university, talk about how he grew up. Then he got a gig on ESPN as a sportscaster for, Monday Night Football, and we started to see a new side of Randy Moss. Now, all of a sudden, when it's time for the Hall of Fame to vote him in, they see this Randy Moss, this good, clean cut, nice guy on TV, when we all know that was BS. So I admit Randy Moss is a sucker for that, move. But he should get in first ballot too, T.O., just like you should have got in. And I'm happy that the two of y'all got in together. I'm happy that I got to see that. But for you to turn down this opportunity, man, and spit in the face of your brothers is wrong, T.O. And it's wrong, and I just can't defend that. So, like I said, man, I got nothing but love for T.O. Right behind Jay Rice, number 2 receiver of all time. But, I mean, come on, man. This game of football been going on for well over 100 and something years, man. You're one of 300 people to get into that Hall of Fame. It's a lot of great players that will never get that Hall of Fame jacket. It's a lot of great players that will never see Canton, Ohio. And you got it. And you just spit in the face of it, man. And I can't defend that. So, well, we got that out of the way. It was a very emotional thing for me because I feel like T.O., that's my guy. Just taking the the sports talk hat off for a second and just being biased just for a second. I love T.O., man. I read his book. I know about his story, man. So for him to just do that, it was it hurt me as a fan because I feel like I look forward to that Hall of Fame speech. I look forward to that for you to tell us your life story and say, hey, this is where I came from. This is what I had to go through. So, But anyways, like I said, man, football season is upon us, man. It's right around the corner. I can't wait. Football's where it's at. That's the greatest sport ever. And like I said, training camp starts in less than a month. Everybody, just from experience, you want to get your last minute partying out your system. You want to go run the streets a little bit more. You want to go get the last little bit of fun out your system before you have to focus in on football. So, but right now, y'all want to know who is not having fun, who's already sharp, laser focused, and that's quarterbacks. The cornerstone of any great team, any great dynasty is a great quarterback. So I'm going to give y'all my top 10 quarterbacks. That's right, my top 10 quarterbacks that ever played in the NFL. Now, this is my top 10. I know a lot of y'all have y'all own top 10 about who y'all think should be in it. I have mine. This is what I believe in, what I saw with my own two eyes, what I've researched myself. So here we go. So whoever gets offended by my list, I'm sorry. This is my top 10 quarterbacks. This is not, hearsay, or this is not factual. This is my opinion, my unbiased, unfiltered, just real opinion about who I think are the top 10 quarterbacks of all time. So, the first one, and I'm sorry, Manny. I'm sorry, Mike Frazier, Keon Frazier, all my good Miami friends. I love y'all. My South Florida friends, I love y'all to death. I love Miami, but I got Dan Marino. Now, why do I have Dan Marino at number 10? Because he never won a championship. We judge quarterbacks off championships. He has none. He has no championships. He's the greatest quarterback to not win a championship. He had a magical season in 1984. If y'all remember, 5,000 yards, 48 touchdown passes. I mean, just the way he threw the football was like, it was like poetry in motion, man. It was a thing of beauty, but, he could never quite, get over that hump of being a Super Bowl winning quarterback. He had his chance. He did play in one. He did lose that Super Bowl. I mean, it is what it is. I think he's a great quarterback, but he's number 10 only because he didn't win a championship. And that's why I got him at number 10, because I feel like, if you're the greatest quarterback to never win a championship, I mean, that kind of pushes you behind a lot of great quarterbacks who did win one. So I got Dan Marino at number 10. I love you, Dan Marino. I love you, my Miami dudes, but he's number 10 on my list. Sorry. Number 9, I got the bad man himself, Aaron Rodgers, who I think is probably the most talented quarterback we ever seen. I mean, the way he throws the ball. I mean, think about it. He can throw like Marino. He can scramble like, I'm not going to say Michael Vick, because that was a whole nother level of, a whole nother level of just explosiveness. So I'm going to say Steve Young. He could scramble like Steve Young. Aaron Rodgers can do it all, man. Can fit any ball in any window. He's not someone that's going to turn the ball over a whole lot. Very trustworthy in that department. But, he won a Super Bowl in 2010. Since that Super Bowl, he's below 500 in the playoffs. So that means Aaron Rodgers has a losing record in the playoffs since his Super Bowl, including 2 home losses to Eli Manning and Colin Kaepernick. Now, anyone that knows football knows that Green Bay is like a tough place to win a playoff game at. Like, it's hard for you to win a playoff game in Green Bay. That's a tall task. It's daunting at best. And Aaron Rodgers has made that very possible. Now, I got him at number 9 because he's still playing, and I feel like he has some time to right the wrong. Like I said, my list can change over time because Aaron Rodgers is still playing. So I got Drew Brees coming up here on my list. He's still playing. So these guys have a chance to kind of finish writing their story. But as we stand here right now, if the game of football never was played again, I got A-Rod at number 9. He's a great quarterback, but I feel like for the most part, he's very much underachieved. He is a champion. He is an MVP, but I feel like that has to translate into at least one more championship. At least one more. Because I feel like for him to be that talented, the Packers are, I do admit they could do better by him, give him better options around him. But I feel like every year he's a favorite in the NFC it's like, hey, if you got Aaron Rodgers, you got a chance. So, he's number 9 on my list because I feel like I can't look past the below 500 record in the playoffs since you won your Super Bowl. And, you lose 2 games in your home stadium. I can't do that. I can't roll with that. But he has time to get, further up my list, over time. But as of right now, he's number 9. We gonna stay in Green Bay. Number 8, I got Brett Favre. Why do I have Brett Favre number 8? I mean, the man, he did retire owning every passing record. He did retire owning every passing record, including interceptions. So I gotta look at it like that. He had some bad moments where he was such a gunslinger that sometimes it worked to his favor, and sometimes it backfired on him. It backfired on his team. It just wasn't the right thing. I mean, so for the most part, I feel like, Brett Favre, he ruined so many playoff games with bad interceptions. Like, 05 against Philly, he threw a bad interception that was caught by B-Dog, from Duval County. 08, remember the cold game against the New York Giants, it was overtime. They had the ball. Brett Favre threw it across his body, and I think it was Corey Webster or Kevin Daughtry had got an interception, and then, the Giants get the field goal, won Super Bowl, and then, of course, 2010 against, or 2009 or 10 against New Orleans, where they were on the 50-yard line. It was like 3rd down. They got a penalty, got pushed back a little bit. All they had to do was just complete a pass and get in field goal range. He scrambles to the right, throws it across his body again, and, Tracy Porter got the interception, and then the Saints kicked the field goal, and they went to the Super Bowl. So Brett Favre basically sent 3 teams to the Super Bowl off his own mistake when he had a chance to send them home. So I feel like as a gunslinger, you live by the gun, you die by the gun. And Brett Favre lived by the gun very well. 3 times MVP. He is a champion. Played in 1 more Super Bowl against the Broncos. Another game in which he made, interceptions and fumbles. So it's like, I would love to play for it. I would love to have a Brett Favre as a quarterback. But do I really want to play with a guy that's going to risk everything on every throw? Nah, I can't. And it's okay for you to make risks. It's okay for you to throw the ball when you're not supposed to. But when you turn the ball over constantly like that in big moments like that, I'm sorry. Like, I can't put Brett Favre anywhere above anyone else on this list that I got coming up. So he's number 8. So far I got Dan Marino number 10, Aaron Rodgers number 8, number 9, Brett Favre number 8, and now number 7. Number 7, I don't know who that is. I got Mr. Captain America himself, Roger Staubach. Maybe I'm being a little biased. Nah, so what? But then again, he's the greatest quarterback for the greatest franchise ever. So what I'm gonna do? It's like if you're the greatest Celtic of all time, if you're the greatest Laker of all time, if you're the greatest Yankee of all time, you're like automatically guaranteed a top spot in everyone's top 10. So it's like, Staubach was the man. Now, I understand, Troy Aikman was my dude. He did win 3 championships, 3 championships that, I would give more credit to his teammates more than he did. I thought Troy was a great leader. He wasn't a better leader than Roger Staubach. I feel like Roger Staubach, because he fought for our country as well. So I can't ignore that part. He had a great leadership about him that galvanized the troops. Whereas Troy Aikman, he was more of a classroom monitor. Back in school when the teacher goes to the bathroom and says, okay, so-and-so's in charge. And that person takes their job way too serious. So I feel like, in a way, Troy Aikman I wouldn't say he was a great player person. Like, I probably wouldn't want him as a quarterback. because I feel like he'll try to talk down on me a little too much. But hey, Troy Aikman had a tough job. You're the quarterback of the most volatile, party hard, drinking, troubled team in the NFL. So I understand the tall task that Troy had to deal with. But Staubach came up in the era where Pittsburgh was king. Mean Joe Green and that the Steel Curtain, Jack Ham, Lambert, Melvin Blunt, Franco Harris, Terry Bradshaw, Lynn Swan, Dante Stallworth, so for him to win 2 championships in that era where his team wasn't the best team, I feel like he had a little more to overcome. Whereas Troy Aikman, he was the quarterback of the best team in football. The Cowboys were the best team in the 90s, and you're the quarterback of that team. So I feel like he benefited a lot from having Emmitt Smith and having Michael Irvin, more so than I felt like, Dorsett and, Pearson benefited from having Staubach. So I feel like Staubach was the better quarterback of those two. He's the greatest quarterback for the greatest franchise ever. So that gets him number 7 on my list. So now we start getting a little controversial here, people. Start getting a little real here. Number 6, my man from the Big Easy, Drew Brees. He's number 6 on my list. Another guy who I feel like is going to go higher on my list when he's done playing, but Drew Brees is still playing right now. I love him as a leader, man. Like, if I would love to play with a guy like Drew Brees, I feel like I want my quarterback in the middle of that huddle. And that what Drew Brees is. He's that guy that is going to get in the middle of that huddle pregame, and he's going to get the guys ready. Not the middle linebacker, not the big bad safety or the big old strong lineman. No, the quarterback, little 6 foot, 5'11" quarterback. He's the guy that's in the middle of that huddle, getting guys crump, getting in guys' faces, doing those little war chants he always doing. I would love to play with a quarterback like Drew Brees. He is an amazing quarterback. He is a champion. I feel like he's gotten robbed, out of a couple MVPs, should have some. He's down to the last little, I say, probably his last 2 years in the league, but he's on pace to break every record Peyton Manning holds. He's going to break every passing record. He does have a championship. So, but here's the thing against Drew Brees I got to call this out. He has 1 road playoff win. So, I mean, a lot of things that he's done, has been inside the confines of the Superdome. He's always had the biggest home field advantage in sports over anyone. He plays for a great offensive mind in Sean Payton, has a great system, and I'm not gonna use that to diminish Drew Brees in any kind of way. I'm not gonna diminish Drew Brees by saying, oh, you playing a great system, you playing a Superdome. I'm not gonna use that against him because that's not fair. But 1 playoff victory on the road, I can't really roll with that. I can't really, say I'm down with that. Just 1 win on the road in the playoffs. I have to bring that up a little bit. But, he's going to retire owning every passing record. He's going to break all Peyton Manning's passing records. He's going to, like my good friend Tim Harper said, Drew Brees put a whole city on his back. And he did. He came into New Orleans, post Katrina. Him and his wife Brittany, they went down there, and you could still see homes diminish and knocked to the ground and everything. And he had a choice: New Orleans or Miami. So imagine that you got a city in New Orleans that just got hit by a hurricane that's, under construction at best, and you got South Beach, and this man chose New Orleans. I respect the hell out of that. And he's number 6 right now. He could end up being higher than that. I love Drew Brees. I would love to play for him. But, 1 road playoff win, 1 championship. Gotta do a little bit more, put a little more, put a little more cachet on the resume, But right now he's number 6. I could definitely see him rising up my list at some point, But right now he's number 6. So number 5, my top 5. All right, number 5, John Elway. John Elway for me, man, like he carried the Broncos franchise on his back for so long. Like he went to 3 Super Bowls. Didn't always have the best team around him. You could always see that when he got to the Super Bowl, how overmatched he really was. He was a part of some big blowouts in Super Bowl history, man. I mean, he 55-10. I mean, we got up on him real bad, beat him up real bad in Super Bowl, man. I mean the Broncos, but John Elway had some bad moments, but I feel like it was the lack of talent around him. Now, once he finally got a running back in Terrell Davis, he got Rod Smith, Ed McCaffrey, Shannon Sharp. Once he got a team, he won. And even at an old age, he still won the MVP of the Super Bowl. So I have to give John Elway his credit. He carried the franchise till he couldn't carry it no more. And once he got just a smidget of help, once he got a little bit of help, just a little bit of help, he won back to back. So he could be a whole lot higher on my list, but number 5 for John Elway, that will suffice because, he carried the franchise, and then once he got what he needed, he won. So it kind of makes you wonder, what if John Elway had a Shannon Sharp his whole career? What if he had that go-to receiver to just go to? Like all these guys on my list who I talk about, they all had, that go-to guy, that guy that if I'm in trouble, I'm going to him. For the longest time, Elway didn't have that. He didn't have these guys until late in his career, early in their career. So once he got some help, he won. So, I can't punish him for that. I think number 5 is, it's fair for John Elway. Number 5, one of the greatest ever, one of the greatest talents ever. So number 4, the man with the hot top cleats, Johnny Unitas. Why is he number 4 on my list? And to all my old heads out there, I know what I'm talking about. I did my research and watched the film on this guy. He changed the game in a lot of ways, man. Like, all these guys on my list, all these quarterbacks on my list, at some point in their life, they looked up to Johnny Unitas. They modeled their game after him, the way he played, the way he was just, the great, like, people say he's the greatest ever. Now, I'm not that. I haven't watched him so much to where I can say he's the greatest. I have watched enough of Johnny U, and I would say he changed the game because he was passing the ball at a time where passing the ball wasn't all great, so passing the ball wasn't the priority back then. So I like what Johnny U did for the game, the way he changed the game, the way he inspired these new quarterbacks. Every quarterback after him, it just got better and better and better and better and better. And he changed the game with that. So he's a pioneer in this game. So on the strength of that, I have him above Elway and Breeze and Marino and Brett Favre. I feel like he changed the game in a way that those guys that I talked about didn't change to that level. I feel like all 10 of these quarterbacks at some point in some kind of way changed the way the game is played. And Johnny U was the foundation of that. And he retired owning a lot of records, a three-time champion. So I got Johnny Unitas at number 4. Now we're finna have some fun, people. Number 3 quarterback on my list, on my top 10 quarterbacks, number 3 is Tom Brady. That's right. Thomas Brady is my number 3. Tom Brady is number 3 on my list, people. Number 3. I'm going to tell you why. He's a 5-time champion. I can't argue that. But Spygate, Deflategate, It don't sit well with me because I ask myself this question all the time about Tom Brady. You got caught in Spygate, you got caught in Deflategate. What the hell you got away with? I mean, is there some kind of other gates out there about y'all? I mean, whenever the word cheater is attached to your resume, I mean, think about it. We won't let Barry Bonds in the Hall of Fame because someone said he did steroids. We're not going to let Clemens in the Hall of Fame because someone said he cheated. We're gonna punish those all-time greats for cheating. Well, Tom Brady, you're not special, bro. Now, I'm not going to put it all on Tom Brady and say that he won everything he ever won because he cheated. No, I feel like he won. And he played in 8 Super Bowls. He's 5-3. He could easily be 3-5, 0-8, 8-0, 1-7. So Tom Brady can be a lot of things in the Super Bowl right now. Like he could have lost all of them. He could have won all of them. I get the records. He's still playing at a high level right now. But the fact of the matter is this: like, Tom Brady has lost 2 Super Bowls to Eli Manning. He lost 3 AFC Championship games to Peyton Manning and beat him once in the AFC Championship game. So I feel like for you to be the greatest, you have to own or have great records over your contemporaries. And I'm sorry, you played against Peyton Manning 4 times in the AFC Championship game, and he beat you. Now, Brady could be a better. He's more clutch than Peyton Manning, or he's probably the most. If I in a game for my life, the guy I want leading my drive is not Tom Brady, but he's second on that list. We'll get to my first guy on my list, but Tom Brady to me is a great quarterback. He's clutch, but too many red flags, too many things that happen, cheating. I mean, Spygate, Deflategate. I mean, that don't sit well with me. I can't sit here and say I'm totally for that. Being called a cheater. Someone said you cheated, Tom Brady. Someone calls you a cheater. You got caught cheating. That's not good for me. That doesn't sit well with me as a competitor, as a fan. No, I don't like that. You got caught cheating. I don't like that, man. Like, so, but he's number 3 because I feel like I'm not going to completely diminish everything he ever did. I'm not going to diminish everything he did and say it was all because he cheated. But I do wonder, what did you get away with? What didn't you get caught doing? So it's like, I can't prove he cheated outside of those 2 occasions. So I'm not going to cast stones on him because of that. So because of all that, everything combined, he's number 3. 5 championships. I can't argue that. 4 MVPs, Super Bowl. Can't argue that. 3-time league MVP. Can't argue that. Great player. Great quarterback. But too many red flags, and the biggest, like your biggest rivalry, like in terms of your head-to-head competition, you have a losing record against that guy. So I can't. Number 3 is where I got Tom Brady at. So if y'all just joining me, Dan Marino, Aaron Rodgers, Brett Favre, Roger Staubach, Drew Brees, John Elway, Johnny Unitas, and Tom Brady. Now, my top 2. Number 2 is Peyton Manning. That's right, people. Peyton Manning is my number 2 quarterback of all time. Why? Well, he currently owns every passing record in NFL history right now. He's a 5-time MVP. Went to 4 Super Bowls with 4 different head coaches. Only quarterback in history of the game to win a Super Bowl for 2 different franchises. And on top of all that, I know what the big elephant in the room is about Peyton Manning, the playoff failures. Well, let's talk about it, people. Peyton Manning didn't know football is a team game. And think about this for a second, and I hate to bring up LeBron James, but let me just put this all into perspective here. We praise LeBron for the same reason we discredit Peyton Manning. We say LeBron puts up great numbers. Well, Peyton does too. We say, well, LeBron has had more responsibility than anyone in the history of the game. Peyton Manning did too. You're talking about a quarterback that had a coach in Tony Dungy that forever was always called some kind of defensive genius. Well, I don't see that here. His whole time as a coach, Peyton Manning's defense was horrible. Dwight Freeney is a Hall of Famer. Robert Mathis may be a Hall of Famer, but Peyton Manning was so great that he put his defense in positions where they could be great. He knew that Dwight Freeney and Mathis could rush the passer, but he knew they couldn't stop the run. So they always played with a lead. Peyton Manning always had to play a certain way for his teams to win. Peyton Manning couldn't play a bad game and his team win. I've seen Tom Brady win a Super Bowl where he literally threw for like 100 yards. If Peyton Manning had a game like that, his team is losing. So that on the surface of that, Peyton Manning was more valuable than Tom Brady, more valuable to his team than just about any quarterback in history. He was his own offensive coordinator. Think about it. It's not too many head coaches in this league that can out-coach Bill Belichick, let alone a player. Peyton Manning would play chess on the field with Bill Belichick, and he won 3 times against the greatest coach and greatest quarterback ever. 4 times Peyton Manning played Tom Brady in the AFC Championship game. 4 times they played. 3 times Peyton won. And I get it, he had some bad playoff losses, and we can dive into that real quick. The game against Pittsburgh, he outplayed Big Ben in that game. His team lost. The year after they won a Super Bowl against the Chargers in the RCA Dome, Peyton outplayed Phillip Rivers. His team lost. The next year, he outplayed Phillip Rivers. His team lost. Peyton Manning lost games that he had no control over the outcome. His defense gave up 28 points against Phillip Rivers. His defense gave up the game-winning touchdown to Darren Sproles in the wild card game in San Diego the year after that. His defense in Denver gave up the Hail Mary from Flacco to Jacoby Jones in Denver when Peyton gave y'all a 7-point lead, and all you had to do was go out there and get off the field. So Peyton didn't always have a great defense. Now, did he ruin some games himself? Yes, he did. He threw an interception in that game I just mentioned against the Ravens. He threw an interception to someone. I think Kerry Williams. He threw an interception to Kerry Williams that sent the game that gave the Ravens the ball to kick a field goal. But he also gave his defense a 7-point lead to work with, to just go out there. Hey, y'all, we're up by 7. All you gotta do is go out there and get Flacco off the field, and we're going to New England, and then we're going to the Super Bowl. They didn't do it. So Peyton Manning, in his entire career, he never had that transcendent defense. Like Tom Brady, his first 3 Super Bowls, like, come on, man. Like, you had the best defense in football. Willie McGinnis, Brewski, Ty Law, Malloy, Samuel, Vrabel, Ty Warren, Richard Seymour. You had Romeo Cannell as your defensive coordinator. You had Belichick pulling strings. Like Tom Brady won the MVP of a Super Bowl where he literally threw for 120 yards. Peyton Manning won a Super Bowl where he threw for like 115, and they say, oh, well, he had a great defense. What the hell do you think Tom Brady had? Peyton Manning, the one time in his career he had a top 5 defense was his last year. Now, at that point, Peyton had the neck surgery like 4 different times. His nerves was bad. He had no feeling right here, so throwing the ball was a miracle at best. He was not the same Peyton Manning, but he was so smart. He was so efficient. He knew what to do. He knew how not to ruin it. And since Peyton Manning retired, the Broncos ain't been back to the playoffs with that same defense, with Von Miller and the crew still intact. They still haven't went back to the playoffs since Peyton Manning left. So obviously he did something right, even at his worst. Even at Peyton Manning's worst, you give him a defense, he'll win your Super Bowl. And it's too bad that it took, 18 years for us to realize that. But hey, he owns every passing record. He's 3-1 against Tom Brady in championship games. 5-time league MVP, like I said, Super Bowl MVP. He's number 2. And number 1, numero uno, I got Joe Montana. That's right, baby. Cool Joe. Why? He just simply the GOAT, man. Undefeated in Super Bowls. He was, I always say Johnny Unitas changed the game. How he throw the football, I feel like Joe Montana took it to a whole new level. And that West Coast offense with Bill Walsh and Jerry Rice and John Taylor, and the crew, like it was real. Like what this guy could do was just unreal. He was clutch. If we all remember the Super Bowl when John Canty was on the sideline and he's in the huddle saying, guys, I know we're in the middle of a game right now, but dog, do you see John Kenny over there? Like, this dude was so clutch, so cool under pressure. Lord knows he broke my Cowboys' heart with that throw to Dwight Clark. Lord knows that's ever in history. So I got Joe Montana number 1. He's unblemished on the biggest stage. He helped mold Jerry Rice. I don't care what no one says. Jerry Rice, the greatest receiver of all time. But had he went anywhere else, I don't know. We don't know. It's a big-ass what if. But Jerry Rice ended up with Joe Montana, and they ended up doing some great things together, man. But he already had 1-2 for Jerry got there, just so we can put it out there. So I love Jerry Rice. I think he's a great receiver, but he also had the greatest quarterback throwing the ball. So I feel like we're going to call, Jerry Rice the greatest receiver of all time. Then the greatest quarterback of all time is Joe Montana. But he is that. Undefeated in Super Bowls, the way he changed the game. We always call Tom Brady clutch. If I had a game for my life, this is the point I want to get to. If I had a drive for my life, one game, and I had one quarterback to pick to go on a game-winning drive to save my life, I'm going with Joe Montana. Any day of the week, and twice on Sunday. Give me Joe Montana any day. I put together an all-time team. Give me Joe Montana. I need a touchdown. I need one throw to save my life. Joe Montana. One game for my life. Joe Montana. One drive for my life. Joe Montana. Give me Joe Montana, number 1, baby. That's what we got. Dan Marino, Aaron Rodgers, Brett Favre, Roger Staubach, Drew Brees, John Elway, Johnny Unitas, Tom Brady, Peyton Manning, Joe Montana. That's my top 10 quarterbacks of all time. All right, peoples. Well, it's almost time for me to get up out of here. My presence is requested at a twins gender reveal party, and I know about twins, so I've been specially invited to this event. That's why I'm, funky, fresh, dressed, and impressed the way I am. But before I get out of here, man, I just want to leave this one nugget for everyone. The sport of boxing right now is at a I would say a middle of the pack right now. I feel like since Floyd retired, it's like where is that big old cash cow or that big event that's going to keep boxing going? And it got to a point where Floyd's dominance became so boring and so much of a burden against him that, boxing kind of just has kind of fallen off. Now we got some big things going on. Triple G's going to fight Canelo again. Let's pray to God Canelo is off the stuff. I got Triple G in that fight, but that's not the fight boxing needs right now. Boxing needs Deontay Wilder and Anthony Joshua fight. As a boxing fan, now I'm not a boxing fanatic or a boxing historian. Like it's a lot of cats out there who know boxing more than I do, and I defer to them on that knowledge. But just on the surface right now, boxing needs Deontay Wilder and Anthony Joshua to fight. We need that fight because you think about boxing at its highest peak. It was during the time when Ali and Frazier and Foreman and Norton and Roberto Duran and Sugar Ray, Marvelous Marvin, Tommy Hitman Hearns. I mean, there's all this talent all over the place. You got two alpha dogs in Wilder and Joshua, both undefeated, both have basically won every damn fight by knockout. You got two dogs. Let's get them together. Let that fight. That fight has to happen because boxing needs that fight. We don't need Canelo and Triple G Part 2. That's not going to save boxing. We need Wilder and Joshua. That fight has to happen. That fight has to be a classic. It can save boxing and put us on a whole new level because I look at Wilder, he's the baddest man on the planet. This dude is a 6'6" Mike Tyson. Deontay Wilder is Mike Tyson with some damn common sense and a bigger body. And Anthony Joshua is fabulous. They have to fight. That fight, to me, can elevate boxing to a new level because if you're Wilder, if you're Joshua, that fight validates your greatness. But it also puts boxing back on the map because it brings the heavyweight championship, it brings that aspect back to it. Back in the day, it didn't matter who was who. If you was the heavyweight champion of the world, you was the baddest man on the planet. If you was the world heavyweight champion, you was the baddest man on the planet. If you was the world heavyweight champion and you was in the same club with LT, guess what? You get in the best VIP section. If you was the world heavyweight champion and you in the same store or shopping mall with Eddie Murphy, guess what? They come to find you. So we need the heavyweight championship. We need that brought back. Like Triple G and Canelo, I want to see it again. If I don't see it again, I'm not upset about it, but it's cool. We need Joshua and Wilder. We need that fight. And it's not a racial thing. I'm not saying the two black guys should fight more than the two Hispanic guys. No, I'm not saying that. I'm just saying the sport of boxing itself needs this fight. Wilder against Joshua. That's the fight that we need as boxing fans. That will put boxing back up out top where it belongs. Because, boxing has started to become second fiddle to UCF or UFL. UFC, I'm sorry. UFC. And I feel like boxing, that's a sport that at one point in time was the mecca of everything. Ali and Frazier, Tyson Holyfield, Duran and Sugar Ray, Marvelous Marvin and the Hitman, back in the day, way back, Jack Johnson, Joe Louis and the crew. Like these were the high point of boxing, and we've gotten away from that. You know, and I feel like nothing's gonna bring boxing back faster and more swiftly than Wilder and Joshua. That fight has to happen. It has to be a classic. Now I got Wilder winning in that fight in a 10-round knockout because I feel like, you know, Joshua's gonna be his toughest opponent. I feel like Ortiz kind of threw a little blueprint on how to beat Wilder, just a little bit. You know, the guy's still the best man on the planet, but Ortiz kind of gave us a little hint on how to beat him, on how to at least rock him a little bit. And I think Joshua is a better fighter than Ortiz, so we're gonna see. But that fight has to happen. It will not only save boxing, it will elevate it to a whole new level where it's supposed to be. So that fight has to happen because it's the fight that could save boxing for a long time to come. So I'm gonna say, people, thank y'all for joining me today. As I gotta go. They calling me. So like I said, man, my top 10 quarterbacks, run through one more time. Dan Marino, Aaron Rodgers, Brett Favre, Starback, Breeze, Elway, Unitas, Brady, Manning, and Joe Montana. So that's my top 10. If you are offended, sorry, but not sorry. That's my top 10. This is my show. But thank y'all for joining me today, man. Y'all be blessed on this great Sunday. Y'all stay safe and be blessed. Peace out.